Yo, good evening, folks. What's going on? Must be 8:30. Got Pastor Dixon back here online. We start out by tagging some friends here, see what's going on. Hopefully, everybody's been having a really good day. Give me a few minutes to get some folks tagged. Hopefully, I won't tag those who don't want to be tagged. You know, this is one of the things that I love about doing the live, because I go through here and it's like connecting. I guess social media is like that, connecting with just good people. You know, it's amazing to have such good friends that in a day and age, back in the day, you couldn't connect with people like this. When people were not near, first off, you had to use that dial, that rotary dial phone, couldn't carry around with you, or when folks, for whatever reason, left where you were at, you didn't see them or whatever. And social media is a great vehicle. Something that in my day and age, when I was a younger man, we didn't have available. And I know there's a few people on here, I ain't gonna call no names, who know exactly what I'm talking about, for sure. All right, let me get a few more tags going here. Y'all please bear with me. And I sure do hope a lot of these get online tonight. Okay. For those, just an FYI, I'm trying to work out an evening when my granddaughter will get on a Facebook Live with me, or one afternoon, and we can have some other little ones, the little people, get online and have a conversation, because, man, I listen to my granddaughter just as much as I listen to my son and his wife and my daughter and her husband and younger ones. I was at Morningside Middle School a few days ago, Friday as a matter of fact, and I had an opportunity to talk with the 8th graders there. Man, that was a great conversation, great back and forth. And you can say what you want about our young ones or whatever, and I know there are those who are always going to cut up, but man, we laid the groundwork for communication, for a visit by the old guy, like I like to say. And them young brothers, because it was all male group, them young brothers was very respectful, very respectful, but none of that out of turn. They played it, they paid attention and everything. So we can say whatever we want about our youth, but I really do believe that it's all in what we show them, what we demonstrate to them, that's really going to make the difference in their lives and how they relate to other people. Okay, a couple of more folk here. Still tagging. Running off at the mouth, still tagging. Okay, let me drop it right here. Okay. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay. All right. All right. It's always good to get back on here and see we got some folks on. All right. Good folk. That's right, Taisha, the village. And it takes a village. Yeah. Wow. What's going on? All right, Jerry. What's going on? Berkeley County Dems. Man, I'm looking forward to coming visiting you all. I'm going to try to make it out there for the convention. If I can. It won't be for a long time, but I'll be trying to make my rounds that day for sure. Sam, sorry I missed the call tonight, okay, but you know where I'm at. You're gonna hear your name in a little while on this broadcast, that's for sure. Taisha, what's going on? Show you right. Soldier, Colleton County. Man, they don't know. They got the right ones. Brother William, what's going on? Good to see you. Okay, yeah. Whatever information you got, make sure you send it. LT, what's going on? Mike Aiken, good to see you. T. Roy in the house. Benjamin T. Roy Simmons. Yes, sir. DJ T. Roy, what they call him. Donna, what's happening? Millicent, what's going on? Robin, what's going on? Sean, what's happening? Gina Mocha, yes. Yes, Regina Duggins for District 111. You're going to hear your name a little later, too. Barbara, what's going on? You know I'm keeping you lifted in my prayers, you and Kimberly, and that's for sure. And get me that information I asked about as soon as possible, okay? The sooner I get it, the better it'll be. Wow, Michelle from all the way up the way. Rock Hill in the house. Fort Mill in the house. Good to hear from you. It's been a little while. I was thinking about coming that way sometime soon. I see there's an event. It's going to be happening, I do believe, like next Tuesday or something like that, where Fran is going to be there and Mo Brown is going to be there. I was thinking, all is well, T. Roy, all is well. I was thinking about trying to pop on up that way. It's been a little difficult lately. Just got a few things going on in the backyard that need to be addressed. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to get on, give some more people a chance to get on. Please share this out to other folks. Let folks know that, you know, the information is here. I can go biblical. I can go scriptural with you. You know, it says that my people perish for lack of knowledge, you know, and that's a reality. I'm going to just talk from my own point of view with an analogy. You know, it's been many times where I got in the car and I just knew in my mind where I was going and how I was going to get there. But I didn't research nothing. And ultimately, I wound up doing a whole lot of wasted time in driving because I really didn't have the knowledge to get me to where I needed to go. For sure. Message. The people perish for lack of knowledge. And one of the things that I hope to do with these live broadcasts is to put the knowledge out there. And not just dealing with elections or whatever, but dealing with interactions, how we relate to one another, how we learn in this era of chaos and confusion, this era where people wear their feelings on their sleeve, and it's so easy for people to get upset, and the era of disrespect. I'm trying to use this vehicle in order to bring people back around to understand that it's all right for people not to think like us or act like us, as long as they're not doing anything illegal or anything that's threatening us. Now, I get upset when it comes down to gun violence legislation because people are dying because of that. Yeah, I get fired up. Yes, for sure. But when it comes time to somebody like says something that I might not agree with, and ain't nobody got time for all that back and forth confusion. Ain't nobody got time for that. All the while we going back and forth like that, people dying in the streets, our kids being uneducated, folks can't go to the hospital. Man, ain't nobody getting paid right. Come on now. Ain't nobody got time for that. And no, Pastor Dixon ain't soft. Believe that. I come from the streets. I come from the projects of Chicago. I know I heard that somebody was comparing my jail time in county jail and the Department of Corrections here in South Carolina to the fact that they was in the federal prison. Like that's something to brag about. Man, if all you got to brag about is that you've been to prison and you was in the Fed prison and not the local prison, well, you know, have at it. Go ahead. Have at it. Yeah. Kat, what's going on? How you doing? Teresa, what's happening? Good to see you. Yeah, that's right, Pastor Millicent, that's for sure. And denying of it. Yep. So I'm going to jump right in here tonight because I don't think this is going to be one of them super long ones. And the first part is basically going to be talking about where we're at right now in the presidential campaigns, okay, in the presidential race. But that's not the focus of tonight, and I don't want anybody to get hung up on this thing about the presidential race. That is not where we're at. What did it say? Perspective slanted. You're right. You're right. Tomorrow, Tuesday, March the 10th, right? Democratic primary voters will go to the polls in 6 states for the first time since Super Tuesday. If you remember 2 weeks ago on Super Tuesday, 14 states voted for who they felt was going to, they wanted to be the Democratic nominee for 2020 running against Donald Trump. This state, South Carolina, stepped forward and decided that without dispute that they were in support of Joe Biden. Now, whatever your candidate is, that's your business. I don't have nothing to do with that, okay? And I'm the guy that I bet was in favor of, he lost in South Carolina, so I'm looking forward to whoever wins the Democratic primary. That's who I'm getting behind, whoever it is, okay? Justice and Eric, what's going on? Robert Bass, what's happening? Okay. 2 weeks ago today, Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi Gabbard, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, and Elizabeth Warren, 8 Democratic candidates for president, all were on the ballot 2 weeks ago today. Okay. And each one of them was hopeful that he or she would be the Democratic nominee who would take on Donald Trump this year and win. Okay. I'm going to claim that. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to claim that the Democratic candidate, whomever it might be, is going to win. Now, tomorrow, 2 weeks after Super Tuesday, Bloomberg, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, Steyer, and Warren are no longer in the race, leaving Joe Biden, Tulsi Gabbard, and Bernie Sanders as the 3 finalists in the Democratic race for the White House, only one of which will remain standing after the Democratic National Convention that will take place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin this summer from July 13th to July 16th. What's going on, Wyatt? What's happening? Queen Christine, what's happening? All right, y'all. The Democratic National Convention will take place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in July from the 13th to the 16th. Okay. What comes out of the Democratic National Convention? The one candidate who's going to run against Donald Trump will emerge. So out of the final 3, unless somebody drops out between now and the convention, that person that's selected at the convention is the one who is going to go on to run against Donald Trump and win. Again, I'm claiming that, okay? Now, as of today, with 20 states tallied, former Vice President Joe Biden has the delegate lead with 664. 664 delegates, while Senator Bernie Sanders is close behind him with 573. That's not a big gap in there. Now, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who is still in the race, okay, she's still in there. She has 2 delegates as of today, okay? Ain't no shade, no shade. I respect her grind, for sure. And we all ought to respect her grind. This is America. This is America, and she can do that, okay, legally. So Tulsi's got 2, okay? So tomorrow, at this set of primaries today, we had the 14 states in Super in Super Tuesday. Prior to that, South Carolina had actually voted. In the early states, South Carolina was the 4th of the 4 early states to vote. Then there came Super Tuesday, which was 2 weeks ago. That made that total. And now up to tomorrow, 6 states. 6 states to total 20 states that have been polled so far. Okay, Janine, excellent. I'm glad to see that, okay? I was still trying to figure out how I was going to work that out for you. Crystal, what's going on? Nettie Net, Carol, what's going on? All righty. You're going to hear your name a little later, too, for sure. Okay, back to it. Tomorrow, voters in 6 states, Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and Washington State will assigned 9% of the total delegates to the Democratic National Convention, leaving 53% of the total delegates available still left to be decided. In other words, to date, as far as the delegates who have come on board because of the primaries in their state, the number of delegates that have been assigned, okay, 47% after tomorrow will have been assigned, leaving 53% more for each candidate to vie for, okay? So with the numbers like that, with Joe Biden having 664 and Bernie Sanders 573, it's really the race could go, and 53% remaining after tomorrow, this whole race could go any kind of way. So just please be aware of it. Be aware of it. And knowing that in the end, one candidate is going to emerge and one candidate only. And I know there are those who will take odds at me when I say what I say and I do what I do. But I don't care whose side you're on. And I don't care how much you huff your chest up and want to punch out and get on Facebook and want to bully people and all that. I don't care. It makes me no difference. After the nominee is selected at the Democratic National Convention, everybody who is not a Republican, and some that are Republicans, needs to get behind that candidate and make sure that that candidate wins. And when I say get behind, I mean phone banking, knocking on doors, donating funds, whatever you can to that one candidate. If you support Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders wins, get out your feelings. Get behind Bernie Sanders. If you support Bernie and Joe Biden wins, get out your feelings and get behind Joe Biden. Ain't nobody got time to be playing these games in 2020. None whatsoever. The stakes are too high to be playing Russian roulette with the federal government and your lives and the lives of our children. And that's exactly what you're doing when you decide I'm not going to vote because my candidate didn't win. If Tulsi Gabbard emerges as the candidate, if you a Biden supporter and a Bernie supporter, we need to get behind Tulsi Gabbard to defeat Donald Trump. Because I'll take any one of them over 4 more years of Donald Trump. Period. Period. And if you feel any kind of way different, and if you're all in your feelings, you feel some kind of way about what I'm saying, too bad. Too bad. Holler at your boy. Holler at your boy. You can inbox me, talk nasty and everything. I don't care. I don't bully easy. I don't bully. I came out the projects of Chicago, straight up, born and bred, OG status. Been a drug addict for 30 years of my life. 30 out of my 67 years. 30 years. I've been in some of the worst places, been shot at before and everything. So if you don't like me because of what I say, then God bless you. I'm going to still love you. But you're entitled to how you want to feel. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this just as it is. I don't care who you're supporting right now. Whoever is selected the nominee at the Democratic National Convention in July, whoever is selected, we need to get behind. Everybody needs to get there. If you're not a Republican, get behind that person. Period. Republicans get a pass, except for those that still want to come to the right side, who want to understand the truth of the ideals that are represented in the Democratic ideology. Okay. I'm not going to say the party ain't flawed. It is flawed. Yeah. In a lot of ways, it's screwed up. But when it comes to standing for the things that are going to benefit people, okay, when it comes to making sure that people have a living wage, the right to collectively bargain and organize unions, the right to quality health care, universal health care, the right to a quality public education, the right to sit on your porch or walk down your street after dark without getting shot. All of these things are the things that, and more, concern for our environment, fighting for the rights of our LGBTQ community, fighting for women's rights. I've never seen such foolishness that comes out of the Republicans' mouth when it comes to dealing with women. Man, come on, somebody. The right for a woman to choose what happens to her body. Oh, and I know the Christians on here be like, oh. If y'all want to talk about it, give me a call. I'll meet you wherever you like, and we can talk about it. We can either do it publicly or privately. It doesn't make me any difference. But I'll talk to you about it, and I'll take you to the Bible on it. Okay, why I believe like I believe that it is a woman's choice, God-given choice. Okay. But the Republicans, they want to make people do whatever they want. They want to create people like them. And I'll be darned if I want to be like the Republicans. I'm sorry. I don't want to be like the Republicans that I see right now. Okay? At all. At all. Damon, what's going on? Faye, how you doing? All right. All right. I don't want to be like them people. They mean-spirited too. They mean-spirited like some Democratic supporters that I've seen. And I'm trying to figure out how you wearing blue, but you act like you're red. Let that sink in a minute. You better believe it. That's right. That's right, Faye. You have the right to choose. It's your body. Exactly. And it really does tick me off when we got a bunch of gray-haired old men and some young men that have been convinced that the gray-haired men are right, telling a woman what to do with their body. And ain't none of them kicked the baby out in their life. Them the same ones also always be talking about, crime and vice and prostitution and drugs and all of that. But who always get busted? We can look at Colleton County and see. Look at the sheriffs and all of them up there. Steady getting busted. Steady getting busted. They do their dirt. We got a state senator here, who got really, got caught drunk driving. He just walked away from it because him and his wife said they switched seats. Okay. All right. That's for sure. Tomorrow, Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, and Washington will be voting. Okay. And that's still going to leave quite a few more states that have to vote in order to decide who is going to help the decision being made. Because I'm not down with this whole delegate thing. Okay. I'm going to tell you it needs to be revamped and revised. But this year, 2020, with Donald Trump in the White House, we do not need to be playing any games just worrying about, okay, well, the number of delegates and all this here, and we've been fighting back and forth and all that. No. I don't care how screwed up the Democratic Party is this year. We need to get behind them. And then do what we haven't done. The only reason why we can say that the Democratic Party has been screwed up is because we have not held them to the accountability that we actually have. We need to hold them to the standard that we want. So if they haven't, yes, the Electoral College needs to go. Donna, but here's the reason why the Electoral College won't go, because it's benefiting the other side. And until we flip the other side, get them out and get the majority of Democrats in there where we can get rid of this Electoral College, we're gonna keep having that. See, that's another upside to getting rid of the Republicans. They control too much of the vote for us to get anywhere. We took the House. We took the House in 2018. That's why we got to make sure Joe Cunningham gets back in office. That's why we got to make sure that Adair Burrows in the 2nd Congressional District gets back in office. That's why we got to make sure either Melissa Watson or Mel Hyman or who's ever running in the 7th gets back in office. And Mark Ali and Mo Brown or whichever one in the 5th goes back in. We need to get them in office, okay? We need to get them in office so we can hold the House while we get Jamie Harrison elected to the Senate. That'll be one of our 2 South Carolina senators. Each state has 2 senators. Right now, it's Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott. Tim Scott just won in 2016 against me, I'm sorry to say. And now Lindsey is up for election. And Lindsey got to go. And what makes it so good about Jamie is that he's somebody that I have seen perform according to the Democratic ideals in the public arena. He not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk, as they say. He is going to make an excellent senator for the great state of South Carolina once we make South Carolina great by voting out those who have kept South Carolina in the gutter. And that's the Republican Party. Right now in South Carolina, okay, that's the Congress. The Congress in D.C., the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate. As I say, this is educational. Hopefully everybody will be picking up on this. In the United States House of Representatives and United States Senate, the 2 together are called Congress, okay? Right now in the House of Representatives, we do have a majority. And that's why we were able to pass gun legislation the first time in 25 years. Send it over to the Senate and still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. Still sitting there. So we got to take the Senate. We have got to flip the Senate over to predominantly Democrats, where when we have the controlling vote. And when we have the controlling vote, we win. For sure. We like the House then. House always win. Shoot. We that's that saying, the House always wins. But here in South Carolina, we got the same problem. Only thing is, we don't run the House in South Carolina. We don't run the House or the Senate in the General Assembly in South Carolina. We don't run either one of them. The Democrats don't run either one of them. The Republicans have had a stranglehold on the South Carolina General Assembly for 20 years. And we look at what's happening here. We're last in education. We're the worst state, one of the worst states in the nation for domestic violence for well over a decade. Where our poverty level is higher than most of the entire nation. There are just so many bad points. I just saw that, even when it comes to disaster preparedness with this coronavirus, COVID-19 virus and carrying on, we're among the worst prepared for this. And I look up at the news and I see Dr. Cole and them from MUSC. Yeah, he's a good fella, but still in all, though, tell the truth. Tell the truth, we ain't ready for no pandemic or no epidemic. We ain't ready for no kind of demic. Period. We, South Carolina, last in everything we should be first in, and first in everything we should be last in, except for tourism. We jamming them up with tourism, at least until the body count start dropping because of this darn virus. Tourists going to be like, I ain't going there. I ain't going there for sure. So, folks, please understand that we do not have the luxury of playing any games when it comes to this election. Okay, we got a lot going on right now. We got the coronavirus going on. We got this election going on and everything. So we don't, no matter which way it goes, we need to stay focused and keep moving forward for the betterment of ourselves, our children, and mankind as a whole. The obligation is on us. We can't sit this out. For all of my folks in here to be clubbing, man, y'all need to be telling somebody at the club about voting. For sure. It's that time. Michelle, what's going on? Shanalia, what's happening? Annette, what's happening? It's that time. We got to stop playing these games. Any club DJs, man, take a minute out to tell people about getting out to vote. Making sure that ex-felons that's off of paper getting registered and they understand their need to vote. They got to vote this year. For sure. For sure. And there's going to be the state elections that's coming up. That's why I said I wasn't going to dwell on this presidential thing. So I didn't need to move on. The state elections are coming. State and local elections are coming. The primaries, when there are two Democrats running for the same state seat or local seat, two or more, then they have what's called a primary, just like with the presidential. They have a primary. And that primary, it will decide, whoever wins that primary will decide who that one candidate is that's going to run against the Republican. Okay? Be it for a House of Representatives seat in South Carolina or a South Carolina Senate seat, or be it any of the local elections or school boards, even though they're nonpartisan seats. We can talk that nonpartisan stuff if you want, but people have their political affiliations even when they say they're nonpartisan. They're either going to support quality public education or they're supporting choice. They're either going to support health care for all or they're going to support the insurance industry. They're either going to support paying people $15 an hour or they want to keep people slaves. You can't get around it. You can say, I'm nonpartisan all you want, but the thought processes say differently. Say you're actually partisan. So we need to understand that phrase, all politics is local. We need to understand the severity of that phrase, that all politics is, because we can elect Donald Trump. And I heard Anjanae Davis do something brilliantly on this not long ago, because we can, be all wrapped up in the presidential election and everything. And right now we got people that's wrapped up in the presidential election so much that if their person doesn't win the nomination, they're not going to vote, and they're threatening and they're bullying people online and carrying on. And I've gotten so tired. It's a lot of folk now. I don't even, when I see their name pop up, I go the other way on social media. I don't even want to be bothered with it, man. All that bickering and carrying on, for sure. But we need to look at the fact that in our local races, in our state races, man, we can really make some impact in this election. I mentioned Jamie Harrison already. Jamie is running for the United States Senate against Lindsey Graham. I think everybody on this whole feed, Aaron, what's going on? Y'all know the worth of Lindsey Graham, or the worthlessness of Lindsey Graham, and just how he's waffled back and forth and switched his positions and everything. And now he's totally aligned. Whereas before he was actually speaking out loudly against Donald Trump. Now he's like Donald Trump's corner man. Corner man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Jamie Harrison, with your vote, if everybody goes to the polls and votes, Jamie will beat Lindsey Graham soundly. I was getting ready to say something. I had to remember I'm a pastor. For sure. He will trounce him. For sure. And they'll be dancing in the streets on November the 3rd. For sure. If everybody goes and votes. I mentioned Joe Cunningham. This is Joe Cunningham's second term. You can talk about Joe all you want to. Well, we don't deal with offshore, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But him and Congressman Clyburn sponsored that gun violence bill, that gun legislation, the first legislation that has passed in the House in 25 years, since the Brady bill was passed. Joe Cunningham sponsored it with Congressman Clyburn. And sent it to the Senate, and still sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk. Because they haven't moved it forward. That's for sure. That's right. Harrison is the real deal. I stand with Jamie all the way. And in this election, I'm standing with Joe Cunningham all the way. Because we need him back in Washington, D.C. Adair Burrows in the second. Okay. Right now, I haven't seen anybody running in the third congressional. These are congressional races, not the state House and the General Assembly. This is Congress, but this is all South Carolina. Because we have 7 congressional districts, 7 House of Representative districts in South Carolina, and each one of them have a representative, okay? Like we have 2 senators for South Carolina, we have 7 congressional House districts. Joe Cunningham represents the first. Adair Burrows is running to represent the second. That's the district where Joe Wilson, y'all know Joe, right? You lie. You remember President Obama was giving his speech and somebody in the back, you lie. Disrespected the president like that and got away with it. Yeah, he's from South Carolina and he's still in office. A dad needs to trounce him too, for sure. Yep. Third, against Jeff Duncan, nobody's running right now that I know about. In the fourth, we got Kim Nelson running against the incumbent, William Timmons. All of the Republicans are the incumbents, except for in the 6th Congressional District, which is Jim Clyburn's district, Congressman Clyburn's district. In the 5th, we got running against Ralph Norman. We got Mark Ali, Mo Brown, and Ramin Mamadov. Okay. 3 Democrats running against this Republican. So they'll have a primary. And the winner of the primary will be that one that runs against Ralph Norman. And when we go vote, if we go vote, we will win. We'll get rid of Ralph Norman. As I said, in the 6th Congressional District is Jim Clyburn as the House of Representative. He's the House Whip, as they say. And in the 7th, we got Melissa Watson, and I think Mel Hyman, my fellow South Carolina Blue brother, is going to be running again. And if so, then they will be primaried also. And may whoever the people select to be that one candidate, so be it. We all need to get behind that one candidate. Beware of any tricks that pop up along the way, and I don't use that word trick lightly. Okay, any game plan along the way. Beware. Okay. Something happened in the 7th. I did not like what happened in the 7th in 2018. And I was outspoken about what happened. And I pray that don't nothing happen like that again, because it ain't going to be no mercy out here in the streets, for sure. But those are at the federal level, okay? But on the local level, on our state level, we got some state newcomers that just come to the block, okay, who are running for office this year. Okay, that need to win their district. You know, we have a chance to actually flip the South Carolina Senate if we get the people that are running elected this year. If we can get them to Sam Scardon. Sam Scardon is running against Sandy Sin. Okay, in District 41. Sam is the Democrat. Sandy's the Republican. So far, I don't think there's anybody else in that race. Okay, there was at one point. That person dropped out. Ellen, how you doing? Good to see you. Keeping you in prayer. Kia, all righty. Sam Scardon, District 41. Man, Sam's got my support wholeheartedly. And I hope he puts a whipping on Sandy Sin. You know, like I said, I ain't scared, for sure. Richard Reesick in District 43. Richard is running against Chip Kempson. The Republican. And we need to make sure that Richard Reesick is elected. If you are part of District 43, you are going to have an opportunity to vote. As long as you go vote. You can't say I'm not going to vote or decide because your candidate didn't make the cut for the presidential election, I'm not going to vote, because then Richard won't get the vote. He won't get your vote. And we could lose again, and Campson will be right back in there. Man, this race in District 99 is going to actually be a primary. Jen Gibson, who ran last time against Katie Arrington, the Republican. And now also she has another Democrat that's in the race, Donna Brown Newton, for District 99. They're running against Nancy Mace. Now, I wish the Republican Nancy Mace, former Citadel grad, I think she was, but I will withhold what's in my mind about Nancy Mace. We can't let her take this seat. We need to hold on to District 99. We need to take District 99 and hold on to District 99. We have to do that, okay? Ain't nobody playing with these folks. We got Ed Sutton. He's running for District 114 against Lynn Bennett. Remember, these are newcomers, okay? These are newcomers who haven't run before. They're not incumbents, okay? These are newcomers. Ed Sutton, man, just a great guy. District 114, running against Lynn Bennett, the Republican. He's got to go. When we look at the voting and the condition of our state for the last 20 years and how, as I say again, we were our last in everything we should be first in and first in everything we should be last in, it is largely accountable to our Republican General Assembly that has controlled the vote because they're 2/3 majority. They outnumber us. They outnumber us. So their vote overpowers us. And until we take the majority, it's going to continue that way. We can't get nothing done that's going to help the people as long as the Republicans have a majority in our General Assembly. No, nothing that's going to help the people. They the same people that be talking about, we don't need no unions. They make enough money, without no living wage. They don't need no $15. Matter of fact, we need to lower that some. Man, don't want to ban bump stocks. Don't want to ban military assault weapons. Don't want to pass universal background checks. Don't want to expand Medicare. Don't want to have universal health care. Don't want to invest in quality public education and paying our teachers a decent wage. Don't want to do nothing that's going to help the people. Those them folks we got to get rid of. And Ed Sutton is running District 114 in order to defeat Lynn Bennett. Lynn got to go. Nice lady, but she got to go. In this House District 115, we have a Democratic race going on. We have Carol Temple, who ran in the last election cycle for House District 115, and Eileen Doherty, who's a newcomer, an Emerge graduate, who's running in District 115. The incumbent is not running for office in that seat again. The Republican incumbent, Peter McCoy, is stepping down. So we need to take this by storm. But I'll tell you what, though. Let me just be honest with you. If we really do think that the Republican Party is going to let Democrats just run for that seat without being opposed, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Yep, Carol Temple and Eileen Doherty. Their primary will be on June the 9th. And if there's a need of a runoff, it'll be on June 23rd. Okay. So those are some of the newcomers that we have at the state house level. Now, locally, man, we got a race that we definitely need to make sure that we take, especially those who have been keeping their eye on the law enforcement in our community for a long time. Criminal cases, litigations, and things like that. 2020. Scarlett Wilson is up for re-election. Yes, she is. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm not going to hesitate in saying this, she has an opponent in Ben Pogue, P-O-G-U-E, Ben Pogue, who I fully support, I fully endorse, and we need to make sure that he wins this election, and we give Miss Wilson some time to herself. She's served our community in the 9th Circuit long enough, which is Charleston County and Berkeley County. She's served long enough. And Ben Pogue is a fair man. He's a decent man. He's come out to ask the community where it hurts, so together we can figure out how we can make the community better in the legal system. In the legal system. All of these issues we having about jacked up solicitors, for-profit solicitors, all of this craziness that we got going on. We had a case. I'm not going to get into the case right now, but I'm definitely going to be on top of this whole thing. They just locked an innocent man up here, just like they executed one in Alabama the other day. They just locked an innocent man up because of an overzealous solicitor. That's the nice word for him, overzealous. I got a better word I could use, but I can't compromise my own self and my own personal moral bar. Okay. Ben Pogue, 9th Circuit solicitor against Scarlett Wilson. We have got to vote Ben Pogue into office. at the Charleston County Council level. Kristen Rainey, a lot of you all know Chris, okay? North Charleston firefighter, domestic advocate against domestic violence. He had his history thrust him unwarningly into the area of advocating to end domestic violence by the way that his mother and his siblings lost their lives. Yes, if you ever need to know his story, you can ask Chris about it. But Chris is a champion in our community and needs our full support in order to make sure that he takes this seat in County Council District 6 now. County Council District 6. Still need somebody to run for Elliott Summey's seat, I do believe. Okay? I don't know if you're out there. I don't know where y'all at. We need somebody to get that, okay? But Kristen Rainey, yep, he's on the docket, okay? Then we have local incumbents like Mary Tinkler, who's running for Charleston County Treasurer. She won in the previous election. This is her first re-election. We need to get Mary in there. Yeah, 116. That's you, Millicent, on 116? You and shoot, my mind just drew a blank. Yeah, Millicent Middleton running in House District 116. I think Representative Robert Brown is stepping down, I do believe. So it's time to fill that seat, and preferably with a newcomer. Okay, we need some new faces with new ideas, okay, in these seats. So that's Millicent Middleton. That's for sure. Mary Tinkler, Charleston County Treasurer. It's about 5. Lord Jesus. Mary Tinkler, Charleston County Treasurer. Mary is responsible for having the staggered payments on your property taxes. Before Mary was elected, you had to pay those property taxes once a year, and a lot of people didn't have it, and because of that, they lost their land, they lost their property. Mary went in there and said, that's not right. So let's see what we can do about having staggered payments during the year so folks can pay a little here and a little there, and ultimately each year they'll be able to hold on to their land instead of taking it from them. You see, because before then we didn't have anybody in there that wanted to help people. Mary wants to help people, so we need to get behind Mary so she wins again in November. Yes, we do. Then we have our state incumbents that are up for re-election. And this is not an exhaustive list. None of this is exhaustive, okay? So please, you need to do your own research for your own districts and everything in all of the elections and make sure that you know who you're running for. scvotes.org, scvotes.org. Go to voter registration and fill in a little bit of information about three questions, and it'll show you if you're registered. It'll show who represents you in each one of these areas and who will be on your docket, and it'll tell you where and when to go vote to. So go check it out, scvotes.org. And we look at our South Carolina Senate. South Carolina Senate is part of our General Assembly, along with the South Carolina House. We have Marlon Kempson is up for re-election in Senate District 42. Margie Bright Matthews in Senate District 45. And there's so many more that I really can't get into all of them. There's just so many. So I'm encouraging you, please. Thank you, Millicent. I appreciate it. Rajil, what's going on? Brother Brandon, what's going on, nephew? Please check on your own status. One, to make sure that you're still registered, because voter purging is a reality. And two, so you'll know who you're voting for, who's on the ballot. I could talk about what's on the ballot all day long. Your health care, mass incarceration, gun violence, wages, all of those things on the ballot. But you need to know who's on the ballot too. And just think, I just want to say it. If you don't vote for these people I'm talking about, then the Republican will win. The same people that's keeping us down, that's been keeping us down for 20 years. It's time to flip that. In the South Carolina House of Representatives, man, we got newcomer. This is his first term out, first term for re-election out. J.A. Moore in District 15. J.A. Moore beat the brakes off of Sam Rivers, in Republican Samuel Rivers, a black Republican Samuel Rivers. I added it in there. Just tell me I'm race baiting or whatever. I really don't care. That's just me. But Samuel Rivers had to go, just like Tim Scott need to go. 2022. Adios, Tim. That's for sure. Ain't no sense in faking. That's for sure. If you're going to be black, if you're going to stay black, then be black and stay black. For sure. J.A. Moore. State Representative Wendell Gilliard is going to be is running again for re-election in House District 111. And I forgot to mention with the newcomers, State Representative Wendell Gilliard has got an opponent, a Democratic opponent, Miss Regina Duggins. Some of you all know her as Gina Mocha. And she's running also in House District 111. That race, since it's two Democrats, will be decided in the primary on June 9th when the voters go to the polls and we decide who we want to go forward to run against the Republican, whoever the Republican candidate is. Okay? Let's just get it straight. This is just real. I'm telling folks what the real is. I'm not telling you who to vote for or who to represent. I know who I'm a rep with, straight up. But you make your own decisions, that's for sure. So I wanted to make sure that everybody understands in the District 111, Representative Wendell Gilliard is up for re-election, and he definitely has an opponent this time in Regina Duggins, Gina Mocha, what they call her. Okay? Marvin Pendarvis is up for re-election in District 113. And newcomer, this is her first time running for re-election, my state representative, Crystal Matthews. And I will tell you flat out, when it comes to Crystal Matthews, I haven't seen that much no-nonsense representation of the people, by the people, and for the people in our South Carolina State House in a while. She ain't scared, folks. She ain't scared. A full-time mom and works a full-time job, too. And so she gets my support fully. And not just because of what she does when she's not in the State House, but what she does when she's in the State House. For sure. And y'all know I ain't got no time to be lying and caring about nobody. Don't nobody pay me or offer me nothing. I just tell the truth about folks. I'm trying my best to get Crystal, Representative Matthews, reelected to our South Carolina House of Representatives in District 117, which is my district, for sure. I'll be working whatever way I can in order to help her. Now, before I move forward and try to close this thing out, all of those names that I mentioned, all of them have Facebook pages and websites that will connect you to a couple of very important places. One where you can volunteer at. Okay, you can sign up to get their regular emails and newsletters, and you can also volunteer. They need volunteers. They need people to knock on doors. They need people to make phone calls. And at those same sites, their web pages and their social media pages, they also have links to donate money. Okay. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? They have links to donate money. I'm going to tell you this. You cannot run an effective campaign without funds. Okay. I'm going to reserve a conversation on the school board candidates until another day. Okay. Because those that are running or those that will run, they're going to need help too. Okay. So, but those that I've named tonight and some more, check on scvotes.org, find out who your folks are, research them up to see if what they're talking about is your kind of thing. If anybody asks me, I'm going to give you a very unbiased opinion of anybody, except for my representative. I'm going to give you as biased as I can. That's for sure. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat, because she's working for this district. Okay. And anybody try to unseat somebody that's working for a district, I got a problem with that. But do your research. Find out about these candidates, okay? So that you can definitely go in and make an informed decision on who you want to vote for. Either in the primary election, if it's two or more Democrats running, or declaring that they're running and then decide to actually pay to get in the run, file to run. If there are two or more, then there's going to be a primary. Be ready to vote for them in the primary, and then ultimately get behind the winner of the primary in order to vote for that one person in to unseat any Republican that might be running. We can take over this state just like we can take over the nation if we all just go vote. We need to quit playing these games. Period. That's the most unnerving thing I've never encountered. All these people talking about it. If so-and-so don't win the nomination, I'm not going to vote. You ain't hurting nothing but all of us. And I'm not taking that hurt lightly. Okay? And like I said, I don't bully much. I don't bully good. I'm too old for that. I didn't deal with it when I was younger. For sure. So, I need to get that understanding. Get it deep down in your heart. Regina, what's going on? Great event the other night with the Walking Women's Welfare Movement. Lisa, what's happening? Diamond LAW, for sure. Evangelist Wright, doing all right. Good to see you. Listen, I'm going to go back to it. Outside of the Trump effect, period. Let's just leave the Trump effect over there, okay? If you decide not to vote because Biden doesn't get the nomination, or you decide not to vote because Bernie doesn't get the nomination, all of those good, hard-working, of the people, by the people, and for the people, Democrats whose election will affect your life and the life of your children each and every day, all of those I just named, none of them will get elected if you decide not to vote in this election because your presidential candidate didn't get the nomination. Do you understand that? You're deciding to not go to the polls is not going to put a vote in for any one of these. And they're running against some despicable and deplorable people, some of them. Nice folks on that red side, but when it comes to taking care of the needs of the people, making sure people have quality education, public education, and health care, and getting paid right, and not getting shot at, and working for our environment, and that, everybody has the right to live. Those people who are against everything that we're for, that I'm for, they will get back in office. And we can look forward to another 2, 4, 10, 12 more years of being last in everything we should be first in, and first in everything we should be last in. That's what the outcome is. So no matter who it is that you stand behind, and I appreciate your passion. To the Burners, I appreciate your passion. To the Bideners, I appreciate your passion. To those who are still standing with Tulsi Gabbard, I appreciate your passion. But only one of those three is going to survive after the Democratic nomination. One. And it is our duty to each other to make sure, not only to each other, but to every one of those candidates that I just talked about, to make sure that we go cast a vote. Because when we go to the polls and vote for that president, that's the same place and the same time where we vote for all of these right here. And if I decide not to go vote for the president, that means I'm not voting for any one of these here that's going to affect my day-to-day life. We can't play that game, people. We cannot play that game. It's too crucial. And I'm just saying, this is aside from the actual voting for the president. I'm talking about the outcome of not going to vote will be. All of those names will lose. Will lose. And a Republican will take those offices. The same ones that has kept South Carolina in the dregs of defeat for 20 years. Don't let nobody tell you no different. The Democrats been doing this and the Democrats been doing that. They might have been doing all of that, but it's because we let them do it. Power concedes nothing without demanding. If we ain't been demanding, power ain't been doing nothing about it. So now it's time for us to make sure that we get to the polls to unseat those who have definitely not been working in our favor, because the Republicans have not been working in our favor. Anybody who believes that, I got some beachfront property in Arizona I'd like to sell you. Cheap. But they have not been working in our favor, and we need to get rid of them. And we need to make sure that we're getting to the polls to vote in those who at least share our ideals. And then comes the work for us to make sure that not only do we share ideals, but they work for the ideals that we want work for. And that's where we dropped the ball in the past. That's why we can't sit back and complain about, well, the Democrats ain't did that. They only didn't do anything because we let them. It's like a cheating spouse. Spouse only cheating if you let them. Okay. So I'm going to shut this thing down tonight. That's right, Faye. Change is coming. Change is coming because more people are going to hopefully share this out to other people, and they will listen to it in their leisure time and get an understanding that not voting is not an option. That not voting is definitely a way for us to let the other side just have a casual win. We might as well not run candidates if we're not going to vote. We might as well not even run them. Just let the Republicans walk right on in. That's why I ran against Tim Scott in 2016. I had no idea, no intentions on running for no office. But something inside of me said, I'll be darned if I let him run for this office unopposed. If anything, if he don't do nothing else, I'm going to make him spend some money. Came out with 750,000 votes in the end of it, though. So, yeah, that was a pretty good showing. A decent showing for somebody that didn't know what they was doing and had no staff, no experience, and nothing like that. So it's time, folks. It's time. Jamie Harrison needs you. Ben Pogue needs you. Sam Scarton needs you. Richard Reesick needs you. Ed Sutton needs you. Joe Cunningham needs you. Man, Crystal Matthews needs you. J.A. Moore needs you. Marlon Kempson needs you. Marvin Pendarvis needs you. Mary Tinkler, Christian Rainey. And the list goes on and on. They need you. They need you. They don't need you with an adjective in front of your name. Bernie supporter you. Biden supporter you. No, they need you. Period. To go to the polls and support them, and to tell everybody else to go to the polls and take people to the polls, and let's get this thing cracking. So we don't have to deal with another 4 years of Donald Trump, because I done already told you. Y'all gonna have to call me long distance in Canada if Donald Trump win again. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't. I'm getting too old for this. I'd rather go. I'm gonna go sit in Canada under some socialized medicine, universal health care, with people making a decent wage. I'm going up top for sure. Get a little cold there, but that's all right. I'll get over it. At least I won't have to deal with a lunatic in the White House for 4 more years, and that's for sure. Well, I'm gonna let it go right there, And I hope I haven't offended anybody tonight. If I have, please forgive me, And if I have, I'm apologizing. And so get over it, and let's get together and get to the polls and let's vote. Please tell everybody that you know. It's too crucial right now. Any club DJs on here, I'm asking y'all, please, once a night when you're spending or whatever, if you're at a wedding or something like that, hey, are y'all registered to vote? We got to vote this year. Say something. Do something, okay? Put that word out here. All right, everybody. Listen, I love you all. One love to you, Millicent, too. And Faye, yes, a change is coming. That's for sure. And I'm going to keep grinding until we see it. Sharing what's going on. Okay. I appreciate that. And I don't have to apologize. That's for sure. But it's all love. It's all love. I don't mind, even when I'm in the right, apologizing for what somebody might have thought. I don't have no problem with that. Okay. I'm trying to show people that there's a better way. There's a better way. And that better way is the way of love. Okay. I'm following that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There's a better way, and that better way is love. Y'all take care. Man, I love you all more than y'all know. Hug somebody tonight. Hug your loved ones and just tell them you love them, okay? Time is precious. And pray that we get beyond this pandemic without losing too many folks. God bless y'all. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I love y'all. Peace.